welcome to Lower Body Podcast. We've been sitting here talking for a minute, but now we're on, so it's all good. Guys, we have Mr. John Burton, right?
Yes.
And you're going to tell everybody first what you do, and then we'll talk about how we met.
Well, first of all, it is an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Danielle. This is great.
Oh, not Danielle.
Danny D.
Yes.
Okay, my bad, Danny
No,
D.
just kidding.
My bad, Danny D. My bad. But I love everything you're doing. I love your energy. I love your spirit. You're doing everything right. And so it is an honor to be here today. But I am a sports broadcaster and a personal trainer. So I work at News Channel 5. I'm a sportscaster there. And I also have my own radio show on WNSR Radio, along with my partner, Patton Cook.
Okay.
So he's the general. It's my initials JB, John Burton. So the name of the show is JB and the General. We're on every weekday from 9 to 11 on WNSR Radio. You can go to WNSR.com and stream us if you like. But it's a fun, quick 2-hour sports show. We just chop it up, local and national sports. And then, I've been a sportscaster for 30-some years. I've been a personal trainer for going on 10 years now.
Okay. Awesome.
So, and it's been a blast. And I do 3 things, and I'm very lucky, like you. Everything I do, I love, so it doesn't feel like work. You know what I mean?
Yes, I love that. That's so awesome. So, are you from here?
I am from upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah, so go Yankees. We're in the World Series. Hopefully we'll win it.
Okay.
We just made the World Series. My New York Yankees. I've been a Yankee fan my whole life. And I grew up about 45 miles east of Syracuse, New York.
See, I knew I loved his energy. You know, like that's, because I love New York. So I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Times Square where all the freaks hang out.
See, that's part of Times Square. So.
Oh, yeah. You got to go to Times Square because you got Sonic the Hedgehog and the Naked Cowboy and all those freaks.
I was literally doing a Love Your Body initiative there in February. So I was like walking around Times Square asking me what they loved about their body.
Oh, New York City is amazing. So I actually grew up a few hours from there, but like all my teams I follow are from New York, and it's great to see my Yankees in the World Series. But I've lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in Pittsburgh for a long time, and I moved here from Pittsburgh. But I've been in Nashville in Middle Tennessee for 12 and a half years, and I absolutely love it here. It is amazing. Amazing city full of amazing people.
Oh,
now, you're from here originally, right?
From Murfreesboro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up there.
Where'd you go to high school?
Blackman.
Okay.
Yeah. And so went there, and then I went to UT Knoxville for school. And then, after that, moved back in with my parents. I worked in Vermont, actually, at an all-women's healthy living resort right after college.
I went to college near Vermont.
Super cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it up there.
Yeah.
Literally, so when I was up there, I was able to go around to everywhere because everything was so close. So I drove to New Hampshire. I drove to Vermont, Connecticut, New York for a fitness event that was in Union Square Park. Just like super fun time when I was there. And I really loved it. And that was the first time that I had left Tennessee, really.
Wow.
Besides like Florida, like smaller place, whatever.
Yeah.
For like trips and stuff. And I was like, man, this is so cool. When I got back here, I ended up getting a job in like Franklin. And so I was like working at this gym, things like that, and like hustling, grinding. And then started Dandy Fitness in the Franklin area. And then ended up expanding it to Franklin and Nashville. Got the influencership at Connect, and then was able to move to Nashville in 2020.
Nice.
So that's what got me here, and then now I'm here in West Nashville.
You're killing it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are absolutely killing it.
I love that.
I just seriously, I love everything you're doing.
Well, means so much. You actually were the host of the Fit show or Fit. So what was it called? Fit Pro Summit.
Fit Pro Summit.
I'm tongue-tied. And that was
with the guys from Nashville Fit Magazine. Shout out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
love those guys.
Terry and them. Yeah, Terry put it on, and and because me and Roy have been talking about it because Roy's been on the podcast. So we were talking. About that. And I was like, I think I want to go, and I'll make the time to go. Right. And that's where Gunner was. That's why Gunner's been on. And so when I went,
boy, that guy doesn't mince words, does he?
No, he does not.
You talk about a guy that keeps it a buck. Shout out Gunner, man. He is just, I learned a lot that day.
Like he's just very Yeah, like that. And so, which was good though. And again, we had a lot of different people, which was awesome. And so no, I loved getting to do that. But you hosted and stuff. And so I was like, okay. And then when you said you knew Big Joe, and I'm like, oh man, like, okay. So that was just like so many connections. So I love that.
Right. Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting you there, and a lot of great people, Dr. Bajoy John, and all the guest speakers.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was great, and I started learning about Danny D Fitness and everything that you got going on. And you were like, you need to come on my podcast. And I was like, well, you need to come on my podcast, because I failed to plug that as well. I do a podcast with former Titans great Keith Bullock. It's called What's Good with KB and JB Podcast Show.
Okay.
So it premieres every Saturday morning on WNSR at 10 o'clock in the morning, but I also stream it on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Castbox, virtually anywhere you get podcasts. It's called What's Good with KB and JB Podcast Show. So check it out. And we're definitely going to have you on as a guest at some point.
I would love that. Yes, please. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds like, again, you moved here, you said 12 and a half years ago, right?
Right.
Okay. So was the goal to always be in like TV, or what was that like?
I've had the good fortune of being a sports broadcaster since really the early 90s. I'm old, everybody, but I may not look it, but I'm old. And, I've worked in Syracuse, which is basically my hometown.
Okay.
I've worked in Buffalo. I've worked in Pittsburgh. And so what happened is 2008, when the economy went bad, I walked into work one day, and it was a Friday. I'll never forget, Friday, December 5th, 2008. And I was told, all right, well, because of budget cuts and stuff like that, your last day here is going to be December 31st.
Oh my gosh.
So but I had 2 years left on my contract.
Yeah.
They paid me for one, so I was okay.
Yeah.
But I was out of work for 13 months. And then I got
gosh.
back into broadcasting, working at a radio station in Pittsburgh, a startup station. And I was there for a couple of years, and it was fine, but I really wanted to get back into TV. So I hired an agent, found out there was a opening down here in Nashville. I flew in, interviewed, didn't really think I was going to get offered the job. I just thought, it'll be a good experience. Go through an interview, that kind of thing. And then agent called me 2 days later and said, they're preparing an offer for you, so you need to decide
like now
if you want to move to Nashville or not. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
And so I got here, and it's been great working at News Channel 5. The people there are great, and it's flown by. I mean, I've worked there longer than I've worked in any other TV station. But it's great. I love the community here. I love the stuff you get to do, and the people I work with and for. It's just been amazing. And then I'm a work hard, play hard guy.
I love that.
I like to get out on the town and have a little fun. And my nickname is Johnny Nashville, so some people call me the King of Broadway.
Oh wow! So he starts here, and then tonight you guys can find him on Broadway. Got it.
Let's just say I'm that guy.
Okay, got it. At least he's not hiding it.
Right,
He's open
right.
with it.
Hey, listen, you only get one life. You got to enjoy it. I mean, that's what Danny D Fitness is all about. That's what you're doing. You only get one life. You only get one body. So go for it, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
Work hard, play hard.
Y'all, I didn't pay him to say any of this. He just coming out the gate with this. I didn't give him a script. I didn't write up the notes. Like, if you've listened to any episode here lately, I mean, things have been crazy. So like, it's just so it's really special to have people on who, again, like, that I don't necessarily know, right? Like that have new people. So it's been really cool. So tell me, like, because I always wanted to live in New York when I was like, that was the goal back when I was little, and I just loved it, right? And I wanted to dance there, and that was the whole thing.
Right.
And grew up competitive dancing. So when you look at like New York's market to like here, right? And because you've done sportscasting in both areas, right?
Right.
So like in Ben TV,
not necessarily New York City, but certainly I've done work in New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that vibe, because everyone always like it's so high paced and stuff.
Yes.
How do you feel that like translates to like Nashville? Do you feel like it's similar? Do you feel like it's still greater there? Or like how do you kind of look at it?
Based on where I've been, like Syracuse, Buffalo, that area.
Yeah.
Nashville is like a bustling metropolis compared to those areas.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking about New York City, right? That's the number one media market in the world, and it's high paced and it's fast, and I mean you got to have your head on a swivel in New York. And if you're going to do any kind of media in New York, you better know what you're talking about, especially in sports, because I really think the New York sports fan is the most knowledgeable sports fan in the country. They know everything. They remember everything.
Right.
And you better not screw something up. And so
Yeah.
I have a really great affinity and respect for those who do media in New York City, whether it's TV or radio.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine does the morning show on WFAN in New York, which is like
Cool.
the mother of all sports talk radio
Oh, okay.
stations. It's the
Okay.
first one. And so he's the morning guy.
Wow.
So and AM Drive is like the time slot you want to be in,
Okay.
other than getting up that early in the morning.
Yes.
I did AM Drive in Pittsburgh radio, and it took 5 years off my life.
Oh, I bet.
I can't get up that early. I can't go to bed that ery. I'm just not wired that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he's a dear friend of mine. We worked together briefly in Pittsburgh, and so you got to be on.
Yeah.
You got to know your stats. You got to know your teams. You got to know everything that's going on. And they got 9 teams in the New York metropolitan area, major professional sports
Dang.
teams.
Okay.
Okay. There's 2 teams for every sport there.
Yeah.
There's 3 in hockey because you got the New Jersey Devils in
Okay.
North Jersey, but you have 2 hockey teams, 2 NBA teams, 2 NFL teams, 2 Major League Baseball teams. And so, I have so much the utmost respect for those who do sports media in New York City or in the New York metropolitan area, because it's a meat grinder.
Yeah.
And the fans there they're passionate.
Yeah.
And they tend to dwell on the negative.
Right.
That's what sells.
Oh,
and
man.
so if you're going to talk positive about a New York sports team, you better know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you real quick. So you kind of explained it there, but when you were talking about the difference, and you better have your head on a swivel and stuff. You kind of explained it there, I guess, a little bit, where you said you better know what you're talking about. So I guess I'm assuming the issue would be that there's a lot more attention on you as the commentator,
Right.
broadcaster, than there would be in another place. So like,
Right.
if you get something wrong or something, you're going to hear about it.
Exactly.
A lot more backlash type of deal.
Yeah, because as soon as you get on the air, the New York sports fans are going to be like, well, who's this guy?
Right.
What's he know?
So
He don't know nothing. This guy don't know nothing over here. Who are you? What do you know about the Yankees? I've been a freaking Yankee fan since '84. What do you know? You don't know nothing. And so they're waiting for you to screw up. They're waiting for you to get a stat wrong.
So it's
they're
even
waiting
more
for you to get
pressure.
something wrong so they can jump all over you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's
Do you endear yourself more to a person like that by pointing out the flaws in the teams, or by being a fan of the teams?
Well, it depends on where you're at, right? And it depends because here's the thing. Like I said, there's 2 teams for every major sport and 3 when you're talking hockey. So the way to do it, if you're going to let's say you're going to do sports talk radio in New York, right? The great Mike Francesa, who is like, the godfather of all sports talk. He recently retired. His thing is like, with 2 teams, you got to favor one team and totally rip on the other one.
Yeah.
So if you're a Yankee fan, you got to rip the Mets every time
Yeah.
you get a chance to. If you're a Giants fan, you got to rip
No
the
in
Jets.
between,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And so you got to be a hero to one fan base and the Antichrist to the other fan
Yeah.
base. Right, exactly. And they don't go for like Homer, hey, let's go, guys.
Yeah,
maybe they'll
no.
turn it around. It's like, no, they stink.
Yeah.
Everything's terrible. Fire the coach, bench the quarterback,
Oh my
bench the
gosh.
goaltender.
It's kind of like a culture, right?
Yeah.
Like it's that how people get in that cycle. I feel like,
Yeah, because New Yorkers are very They're
Yes,
loud
yep.
and they're opinionated. You experience that.
Yeah.
They are loud and
I
they're
love it, man.
opinionated. But you know what? They hold on to their opinions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they don't waver. They don't. So you can't be flip floppy.
See, I'd rather have that all day long than people that are indecisive and can't make a decision.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I definitely love that. So tell me this. So in like Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
with the sports stuff like that, do you feel like any real pressure with sports stuff, or are you kind of more like it's kind of laid back here and like you can kind of love all the teams, or what is it?
Right. You know what? Nashville gives you a lot of freedom,
Yeah.
right? Because you can kind of go whichever avenue you want. If you want to rip the teams, they're fine with it. If
Yeah.
you want to favor the teams, they're fine with it because Nashville's such a unique city. There's so
Right.
many other things to do. Like the sports fans here are passionate. Like
Yeah.
the Titans fans, they love the Titans.
Right.
Preds fans, I go to a bunch of Preds games
Yeah.
a year, and that place is always filled and
Yep.
loud and ready to go. But after the game, it's kind of like, all right, what do you want to do now? You want to go listen to some music
Right.
or go get some hot chicken?
Yeah.
It's not, and I mean this in a good way. It's not an area where people are just their lives are driven by sports.
Yes.
And it's like, if the Titans lose, people are pissed off for
Yeah.
a day or two. And then after that, they're like, all right,
Yeah.
we move on.
Right.
In New York or like Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, their sports fandom almost rules their lives.
Right.
And it's kind of unhealthy sometimes.
Yeah.
I've found as I've gotten older, like, I'll give you an example. I'm a New York Giants fan. We stink.
Yeah.
And I've just resigned myself to the fact that, hey, I watched them win championships in the past.
Yep.
They stink right now. They're just going through a bad thing. And it's just like, I've resigned myself to the fact. Now, if I'd have been younger, this thing would have just destroyed me.
John,
you know what I mean?
John, how old are you? Because we were talking, because look, I just did Move Fit at like an old fraternity house for Vanderbilt, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting around a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds, and I'm like, bruh, like, how old do I look? And you know what I mean? And my girls that were with me were like, late 20s, it's fine. You know what I mean? So like they were like great about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I'm 31, so like we kind of been talking about this here lately, but how old are you?
I'm 54.
Okay. So, basically ancient. So good thing you let us know.
I'm old, decrepit, washed up. See you, folks. It'll probably be the last time you see me on camera because I'm probably going to die tomorrow.
No, stop. Oh my gosh. No, so tell me, have you actually, because we've talked with, Danielle Breezy, Big Joe, all them.
Big Joe's my guy. Shout out Big Joe.
Yeah, he's the best.
Big
He
Joe.
was the inspiration for me, for my book.
Create the Chaos.
Yes,
right?
yeah. So I'm in his book, his first one, and then and he was like, "Dang, just write it." So like in the back of my mind for the past I guess 2 years, it's been like in my mind, write it, and so I did, and so
Just do it.
and so now How to Love Your Body Throughout is out, and but anyway, so with that, like, have you dealt with any like negative like mass feedback from like the community, like with sportscasting? Because like Danielle said she had that horrible instance where everyone kind of turned on her about the tornado and like it was like The Bachelor and all that stuff, right? Like, have you had anything like that, or does people like with the sports, they're kind of like, yeah, he's a sports guy, like kind of light with it?
A little bit of both. You know what? When I'll be honest with you, when the whole Colin Kaepernick kneeling thing happened a number of years ago, what was that, 2016 or 2017,
like
whenever that was, that was an interesting time because with social media now, people can just pop on and tell you whatever they think about you, about, what you do. And, I mean, we've all experienced it, right? And I just remember I got an email from a viewer. I guess he was a former military guy. And, it was on my work email and it was directed to me. For those that I think most know, Colin Kaepernick was trying to stand up for minorities getting shot by cops and stuff like that and killed and that kind of stuff. And there was a military guy. It was directly to me. It wasn't to the sports department. And he said, I'll never watch the NFL again. It's disrespectful that he doesn't, stand for the national anthem. And he said, oh, by the way, all those people that got killed by the cops, they had it coming. And I was like, I mean, it was directly to me. Yeah. And it's like, hello.
Right. Yeah.
So, you put two and two together here, right? And so I just emailed him back and I said, thank you for your opinion. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
And I just hit send and I went on with my day and just realized there are people out there like that. But by and large, no, it's been, it's been really good.
Good.
The feedback I've gotten, I mean, it's crazy sometimes. I'll give you an example. I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, right? We're doing our thing. It's Vegas. We're partying, we're gambling.
Can't with them. He's like, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's Vegas. We're doing our thing. So it's Saturday morning. I go down. We're staying at the Hilton World, beautiful hotel, casino, sports book, great restaurants, all there like within the confines. They have a great gym, awesome gym. So I was like, I'm just going to get a quick 15-minute workout, just get my heart rate up a little bit. And there was somebody there that was, I guess, from Nashville on like some kind of pasture retreat or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there working out. This guy comes up to me and he shows my picture on his phone. He goes, excuse me, you look like this guy. I'm like, well, I am that guy. He goes, oh my gosh, it's so great to see you. And, thank you for all you've done. It's like, whoa, thank you, man. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to do my job. But, you know, to hear people and to have people come up and say that they enjoy my work, or
Yeah.
you know, they like what I represent, you know, whatever it may be.
Right.
It's so rewarding, and it's
For sure.
you know, and it speaks to just Middle Tennessee and how great everybody is
Yeah.
here. So by and large, the feedback I've gotten has been really, really good. But you know, there's a few bad apples out there.
yeah.
You know,
Always.
I try not to let it spoil the bunch. But people
Yes.
we're just in the opinion age, social media. You know,
Well, there's no recourse, right? Like
Right.
they can say whatever they want
Right.
without it being like
it's the wild, wild west now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's my thing is adapt or die. Right?
Yeah.
You gotta roll
love
with
that. I love that.
it. You
Adapt. or
love
die.
your body, adapt
Yeah.
or die.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly right.
I was just gonna ask you on the
Sure.
flip side of that coin too. Like, some people don't understand. Like, some people just don't watch sports because they're just not interested in it. But one thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way are people that think that sports is like a dumb thing to pay attention to, or like, you know, like you said, it can get unhealthy at a certain.
Yeah, they think they're above it, kind of thing. Yeah.
And that's the thing too. That's kind of my point. Is like, if you just genuinely aren't interested, like, I'm honestly, I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
In it, but I don't really have. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But some people like will almost think they're above it. Like, oh, that you're dumb if you pay attention to this stuff. Oh, this is a distract. Like, and there's some truth to that. But you being somebody that's like so connected to the community, where have you seen areas where it goes? You know, sports is what, you know, the surface level thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you see it connect people in a broader way than I guess that people that aren't in that world, maybe they don't get that.
That's a great question. I'll give you a perfect example. In 2017, when the Predators made their run to the Stanley Cup final, it was amazing, right? Because you know, I'm going to the arena to cover the game, and there's probably 400,000 people standing outside watching a big screen because they want to be there.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of it. This community came together
Right.
because of what the sports team was doing. Because, you know, Nashville's always been a city that everybody talks about, but man, that really put Nashville on the map when the national media saw how everybody was just gathered. And you know, Nick Saban, the Alabama coach, went to a game. Charles Barkley blew off an NBA playoff game to come to a Predators hockey game.
Okay.
Like he didn't show up for work. He came here because he wanted to be a part of this. So sports can bring communities together. It's obviously a great source of civic pride when your sports team does well. And I love it from that aspect. Now, at the end of the day, right, it's the, you know, we always talk about, you know, us that work in sports, we always talk about it being like the toy box of life, right? It's not, you know, it's entertainment. It's an escape.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to a game for 2 or 3 hours and kind of forget all the crap that you're going through. And, you know, knowing full well it'll be there when you walk out of the stadium or the arena and you deal with it. But for 3 hours, I can go to a ball game. I can cheer. I can boo. I can have a drink. I can eat a slice of pizza and just be entertained for 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's no different than going to a
movie
going to a movie or you know, sitting on the couch and watching Netflix or whatever. So, but I love the way sports can bring communities together. And you know, we've seen it because everybody got on board when the Predators made their run back in 2017. And so that's, to me, that's the prime example of how, you know, and a lot of people that were a part of this or wanted to be a part of this didn't know it, weren't really, to your point, into sports.
Right.
Or knew what hockey was or understood hockey. But it was like the team from Nashville is doing well. Let's get in on it. That's what I love.
That's why I think it's so, it's such a great point, because I think that the underlying aspect of that is that everyone wants to be a part of something.
Yes.
That in a lonely, you know, insecure, I feel like isolated world, right? Especially post-COVID stuff. It's like that people are just craving that community.
Yes.
And so when they, even if they're not about it, they're like, well, this will be a fun thing. I can dress up to it. I can go to it, whatever, can meet my friends. Like, and so that's how I feel like fitness is, right? And that's like, and building that and like
because
building
when people get involved in that, whether it's fitness or sports, right? It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are or your nationality or whatever.
Yeah.
We're all in for the common goal. We want to see the Nashville team win, or we all want to work together to get healthy and look better, feel better, you know, mentally, physically, that kind of thing. Because it's funny because you mentioned COVID. I mean, I went through it during COVID. You know, I'm not married, don't have any kids, live alone. Yeah. That was a very, very difficult time for me mentally. Right. You know what I mean? And fitness helped pull me out of it. But it was, I had my days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
I'm sure a lot of us did.
Well, tell us about that a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
how did like with fitness, like, cause what is your, like, have you always, like, did you play like sports growing up and then like, have you always been active or?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I played a bunch of sports
Yeah.
in high school. Jack of all trades, master of none. I played football, a little basketball, a little
Okay.
tennis, ran a little track. Football was probably my main sport. And then when I went to Plattsburgh State, where I graduated from college, I joined the rugby team
Oh, okay.
and I got addicted.
Yeah.
And so I played rugby from age 20 to age 39. Every city I lived in, I played for the local men's club.
Wow.
And I was, so I was an amateur athlete for 19 years. And
Wow.
I loved it. I loved the sport.
That's cool.
I made some incredible friends, had some fun moments. And I kind of exercised some demons
Yeah.
from my high school sports career because I was a kid that I had talent, but, I probably didn't have like the mental drive to really just go out there and just, force my will,
Okay.
and make things happen. So playing 19 years of rugby, it helped me harness that.
Yeah.
And so I exercised those demons. And so now, I got everything out of rugby that I could. I gave everything into it. I probably sacrificed, a lot of my career and
Yeah.
a lot of other aspects of my life, but it didn't matter to me because that was my passion.
That's what you love,
You find
yeah.
your passion and you just do it. And you don't give a crap what anybody else says,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean, you're living proof of that, Danny
Yeah.
D. I mean, come on. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yeah.
And that was my passion. That's what made me happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
so I'm such a meathead. I played 19 years of rugby, and then after that, I was a professional wrestler for 6 years with the National
Really?
Wrestling Alliance. So
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
And okay, so at that age too, so you're 40, right? Doing wrestling?
Yeah,
It-
I had my first match. I didn't have my first wrestling match until I was 38 years old.
Okay. I
Yeah.
love that. And because I think that more people need to hear that because I don't know, like, and me and Logan were talking about this earlier about like how we're similar in age. And it's like I went to go see at TPAC. I went to go see Moulin Rouge. Okay. And that was so great. But see, I danced at TPAC growing up. So from
Okay.
the ages of 3 to 18, every recital was at TPAC.
Okay.
Okay. So I've danced on stage hundreds of times. And so to go back to it literally 13 years later, look at it. Because I never, when I was dancing, would have thought, oh, I wonder if someday I'm going to come back and watch a show here. No, I was like, I'm going to be in New York. I'll be
Right.
dancing Broadway or whatever, right?
Right.
I wanted to be the backup dancer for J-Lo or Missy Elliott. I didn't really care at the time. I was like, whichever one. So that was my goal. Yeah. Anyway, that did not pan out, but it's okay because now we're here. But like,
Exactly.
but basically, but I didn't think about that. So then to sit there and watch this show and watch them dance and whatever, and know the athleticism and all the stuff behind
Yeah.
it, like, and I'm like, these people. Again, I'm trying to watch them whatever. I don't know their ages, but I'm like, they're not young. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Right.
so I was like, that's an option. And I guess like in my mind, like when you think about how it goes, right? You go to high school, freshman year and then high school and then you go to college and then whatever. And then you're like, well, then what happened? So to say that you did something professional like that
Yeah.
at the age of, 40 essentially. And I think it's so cool for people to hear because sometimes we look at it of like, well, there's no way I could like do that again or
Yeah.
do something new or do something like that or even try.
Oh, it's never too late, man.
Yeah.
Hey, this is John Burton. I am blessed to be a guest on the Love Your Body podcast. You can check me out on News Channel 5 Wednesday through Sunday, doing the sports at 6 and 10, Sunday Sports Central every Sunday night after the late news. You can also catch me on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio, for the JB and the General Show with my partner, Patton Cook. We're on every morning, 9 to 11. And also check out my podcast with former Titans great all-pro linebacker Keith Bullock. It's called What's Good with JB. Actually, What's Good with KB and JB podcast show premieres on WNSR Saturday mornings at 10 a.m., but we also stream it on Spotify, Apple, pretty much anywhere you get podcasts, you can stream it. Go back, listen to old episodes, and don't forget, just believe, and love your body.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for subscribing to the Love Your Body podcast. I appreciate every listen, every view, every share. It means the world to help grow this mission. If you are interested also in one-on-one personal training as well as online programming, I train clients all over the US, so I would love to train you, help you live a healthier lifestyle, have a healthier mindset, all the things. But yeah, also you guys, we have events coming up soon, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the newsletter. You also have automated texts within those too, so make sure you get on board to get a little bit more motivation and positivity throughout your week, as well as you can order some fight energy. So if you're watching on YouTube, you've been seeing me drink out of my fight bottles that I send you guys to. So Fight Energy keeps you motivated, boost your energy, mindset, everything. 0 calories, 125 milligrams of caffeine, and your daily dose of vitamins each day. So highly recommend it. Make sure to check it out, and talk to you soon.
Aaron Rodgers is playing right now. He's 40. He's about to turn 41. I mean,
and I think that
with
just
the
shows to their
advancements
health,
of nutrition and
Yes.
and training and stuff like that, man. Age is. I mean,
play with his son tonight.
exactly.
He's gonna play with his son tonight.
Yeah. How crazy is that? LeBron James.
His son.
NBA opens tonight, and
Yeah.
LeBron James is gonna.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been in the NBA for 23 years. His
Yeah.
son is a rookie on the Lakers. They're going to play tonight on the same court. At the same
That is wild.
Yeah.
I had no
It's
idea.
hard to put your brain around.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron said like a number of years ago. He said, "I'm not going to retire until I get a chance to play with my son." Which is
Wow.
Think about that.
NBA.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's never happened before.
Red League.
Yeah, for sure.
They both play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. But
I love that.
He's played in the NBA for 23 years.
Yeah.
His NBA career could have bought a beer 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Like,
Yep.
wild.
doesn't
He won the he won the championship COVID year. He could have walked away then, right?
Yeah,
He could have. I mean, he could have not even gone to the Lakers. I mean, really, he's been set for a while, but
yeah.
especially the last 3 or 4 years when they've not really been that great, it's been insane.
Yeah.
But to see a little version of him on the court with him, yeah, they're literally, it says James Jr.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's wild.
What?
So let me ask you this. So you said you did your rugby,
Right.
and then you did the professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do you do now for fitness?
Just work out,
Okay.
and train clients. I do a lot of hybrid stuff, right?
Okay.
I do a lot of hit training's become my thing. As you get older, because you can't just go bro lift and I'll do 20 minutes of cardio on an empty stomach and then I'll go bro lift in the afternoon. No, you gotta pick the pace up. You gotta.
Yeah.
That's what really helps. Try to keep the old body fat down and stuff like that and maintain the lean muscle. So
Yeah.
I probably do bro splits probably 4 days a week.
Okay.
And then I try to do hit 3 days a week. And I try to do hit 2 to 3 days a week
Okay.
and get 1 or 2 days off. So
Okay, yeah.
And then you know this. It's at this stage of my life, the training. Thankfully, I still have the drive to go train, and I hardly ever miss a workout.
Yeah.
That's one of the few things I'm actually diligent about in my
Yeah.
life. But it's all about the nutrition and the diet. You just try to eat as clean as possible.
Yeah.
Splurge every now and then.
Right.
I was back in Buffalo over the weekend to cover the Titans game. I
okay.
ate a lot of wings.
Yeah, yep.
When in Rome, right?
Right. Exactly. I totally get
Yeah.
that.
So, but I'm probably doing something workout related, probably 5 to 6 days a week.
Okay, I love that. So, was it around the time that I'm trying to do the timeline together? Were you after wrestling? Was that around the time you became a personal trainer?
Yeah, actually it was about, let's see, I moved here in spring of 2012.
Okay.
Like May of 2012. And I got my first certification in early 2014.
Okay.
So I
gotcha.
spent the winter of 2013 into 2014
Yeah.
studying. I originally got certified through ISSA. Now I am certified through Action.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's been really great. And so yeah, I just kind of set a goal that one winter, and I on my days off, I got days off. My full days off are normally Monday and Tuesday, right?
Okay.
So I would just study for 3 hours on Monday, 5
Yeah.
hours on Tuesday, and just went steadily along. And
Right.
it was great. And my only regret was I should have done it, earlier in life. And it was one of those things where I was like, I could be a trainer. And then finally, I just said, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you think was the the holdback? Like what kind of kept you, because I mean you're obviously active,
Right.
and then you're in TV, so
Right.
like you know a lot of people, right? Like you're doing
Yeah.
all these things. So like what was it, just like was it you
Just being lazy.
Okay. Okay. All right. You said it. Not
Just being
me.
lazy. It's like, I don't want to study for it, you know.
I
Can,
see.
Can somebody just give me a certificate?
Right.
You know?
I
And then
gotcha.
finally I said, all right, listen, you know, you're gonna do it. Let's do it. And I
Yeah.
loved it because, you know, I hadn't really studied for something since college, right?
Yeah.
And the brain stimulation that I got.
Oh, it actually
and-
is exciting when you're in it. Yeah.
And it's like retaining stuff and learning stuff. It was really cool, but it
Yeah.
it was just me just finally, you know, getting off my ass and realizing, all right, let's do this. Let's make this happen. So
For sure.
I wish I had a better answer for you,
I
but
think-
it was just being lazy.
No, I think that's great.
When do you, but I mean, you say you're being lazy, but like when do you have time to train people? Like when do you?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask too. Like, where do you train? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
do you have an LYB gym too? Do you have a
I
Live Your Body
wish,
gym?
man. I need to talk to you about that. That was great stuff.
Because you're being lazy, I'm thinking, but when would you even been able to? Like, I'm confused about that now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. My radio show's 9 to 11, and then when I work TV, it's normally like a second shift. But you know, Mondays and Tuesdays, pretty much anytime except between 9 and 11. I got a couple clients that come in early in the morning. You know, sometimes after work on Mondays or Tuesdays or Saturdays. Usually, I don't have to go in until like later in the afternoon, so
Yeah.
I can get a couple clients in. You know, Saturday mornings and Sundays. I'm either at Nissan Stadium covering the Titans game, or
Okay.
I'm on the road with the Titans. So I usually block off Sundays, right?
Yeah.
But I find a way. I get it done, man. You know,
Okay.
it's just.
And so they come to you, or you go to them?
Well, I rent out Nashville, or was it CrossFit West Nashville?
Yes. Okay. I know. What that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So shout out
Okay.
to everybody there.
Okay.
I've been training clients there for pretty much when I started and when I first got certified.
Oh, okay.
And it's been a great relationship. They've
Good.
changed ownerships, but I've
But it's
got
all
a
been
great relationship with everybody there. And shout out to Rob and Sarah and everybody there at CrossFit West
Yeah.
Nashville. Great people there, and got a great relationship. And you know, I got 24-hour access to the place.
Yeah.
and
So you can. Yeah.
yeah.
whenever.
So whenever my clients need me,
Yeah.
I tell them, come on in. Let's get her done.
That's
Just give me an
awesome.
hour.
Yeah.
You know, give me an hour. I'll get you in great shape.
I love that. Well, that's so
So
exciting.
the name of my company is called Just Believe Fitness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I have a website anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, why am I paying for a website when I can just do social media and,
Right,
and word
right.
of mouth and stuff like that? But
I got
JB, Just Believe.
Yes, got
And that was
you.
my
Yeah.
wrestling moniker, you know, Just Believe.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. Hey, I'm all about a good slogan,
Yeah.
good tagline, you know?
Love your body.
Yeah, all day long. Yes. I love that. Okay, so tell me, so when you decided, like, wait, you went to college in New York, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then before that and everything, like, are you, like, only child? Do you have brothers, sisters? Like, what's that like?
Yeah,
What
I've
was
got
it?
two sisters. You want a JB fun fact?
Yeah.
It's going to blow your mind.
Okay.
I have two sisters. They're twins.
Okay.
And I was born exactly 2 years to the day after they were born. We all have the same birthday.
What?
Yeah. Mom and dad knew what they were doing. Shout out mom and dad.
Oh my gosh. They were consistent. They were in routine.
consistency, right?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Something got them excited at the same time.
I
Yeah.
love that. Okay. So wait, so when's your birthday? What's your
June 12th.
Oh, okay. I love a summer birthday.
I
So
love,
I'm July 7th.
I love being a summer baby.
But you're
I love it.
not a Cancer.
I'm a Gemini.
Yeah.
We're crazy.
That's what it is. Anyway, yeah.
We're nuts.
Yeah. No, I know.
Dual personalities, you know, we're you know,
So all three of you. So okay, so with your twin sisters, so
Yeah.
and you said they're 2 years older. Okay. So are they do they live, where do they live?
they live in the DC, Maryland area, like the DMV area.
Okay.
Like one sister works for the Department of Education. The other one's an interior decorator. They
Okay.
both authored books. They're amazing.
Nice.
They're incredible.
Oh,
They really are. And yeah, I couldn't be prouder of them. They've you know, they've done a lot. They've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot, but man, they're strong. They're two of the strongest people I know.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So and your parents, because for those who are not watching on YouTube, you kind of referenced like
Yeah.
Kevin. So
Yeah.
so they passed.
Yeah, they
Okay.
passed away. So
Okay. What,
yeah, I'm a middle-aged orphan.
Okay, so was that like so that was kind of recent, or that was
My mother passed away in 1998,
Okay.
that spring, and my father passed away in the spring of 2011.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Just natural causes? Or?
Yeah, my father had issues with diabetes and dementia. My mother, she was a lifelong smoker, so she had some lung issues, and
Yeah.
you know, we were treating her for it,
Yeah.
and really trying to hoping for the best, and it just never materialized, unfortunately. So
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah.
Do you think that did that ever play a part in why you loved like fitness and movement?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, seeing what they went through, I don't want to go through that.
Yeah.
I just want to not wake up some morning when I'm 97 years old,
Yeah, yes.
That's what I'm hoping
I
for.
literally said that the other day, not on the podcast, but I was talking with a client and I
Yeah.
literally was like saying that I was just like, Kelly, I just want to like peacefully in
Yes.
my sleep would be awesome. But like to basically, I was trying to tell her that like, I know that we all have things, right? People want to put on more muscle, they want to lose
Sure.
weight or whatever. There's always
Right.
something. But when you are healthy and you don't have to worry about,
Exactly.
a disease or this or something that is so, predominant, and like we were talking about like with Gunner's daughter, like leukemia, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I think that so many times we're so trivial about the small things,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And make them huge when it's really like, no, like you don't have problems.
Right.
Like you may think you got problems, but like if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
I tell people all the time, right? I am not a rich man, right? I'm out there grinding like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a trust fund. I don't have,
Yeah.
a couple $1 million in the bank. My health is my wealth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? As long as I'm healthy,
Yeah.
I can pretty much handle anything that comes my way. That's my philosophy.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
same. Yeah, exactly.
So, and I've always, to your point, I've always just been active. I've always been that guy, go to the gym after work or whatever,
Yeah.
or in the morning before work. And it's been a part of my life since I was probably 16 or 17 years old. And, there was a time when I first moved out of my parents' house, living
Mm-hmm.
in Syracuse, and I kind of let myself go for a little bit. And I was like, oh, all right, let's get back on track here. You know what I mean? But it's always been a steady part of my life. Any city I've lived in, I belong to a gym.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the gym. And it's, these days, man, it's as much mental as it is physical,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
That's my therapy.
Yeah.
I probably should do some therapy if I'm being honest. That's kind of one of my goals for 2025 to maybe, look at doing some therapy just
Yeah.
to kind of, we keep it real on this show. We keep it
Right.
real on this channel, right?
Yeah.
You deal with a lot of stuff, I'm
Right.
single, live alone.
Yeah.
No wife, no kids.
Right.
So I'm at a point now where I got to find, all right, what's my purpose? Why am I still here? And what's going to be down the road for me? What do I
Yeah.
have to look forward to? So when I go to the gym, and I love it when I go to CrossFit West Nashville and nobody's there, and I
Right.
just blast my 80s funk music
Yeah.
and I just go to town.
Yes.
I walk
love
out of
that.
there feeling like $1 million and just so like mentally and physically
Right.
cleansed, if that makes sense.
No, who are you talking to? Like, come on, don't act like I don't.
Daddy D,
Yeah,
y'all.
he's acting like every workout is like positive,
Oh, yeah,
rainbows.
yay.
I'm over here like, yes. Someone earlier, I was training a client, she was like, yeah, you totally would have been Jane Fonda. I was like, nah, I would have been, do you know that on Instagram, I can't believe I say this on here, but Jamie Lee Curtis, there's a movie, I don't know what movie it is, but she's wearing,
Perfect.
is that what
It
it
was
is?
called Perfect
And she was
with
wearing
John
the
Travolta.
unitard. Yes, okay, and
Yeah.
she's doing the hip circles.
Yeah,
And she's like
I'm
looking
old
at
enough to
him.
remember when that movie came out.
So I never saw that movie,
I was a
but-
preteen when that movie came out, and I was like,
Okay. So she's like looking at him, like getting it, doing like the hip circles that I do with MoveFit.
Yeah, she's staring at
and she's
Travolta,
staring
and
at him.
Travolta's staring back at her.
Yes,
And
and
he's
that's
like grinding
exactly-
his hips. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens. And so literally, I told her, I was like, no, that would have been me. And so she's just laughing or whatever. But anyway, all that to say that like I am usually, he knows exactly what I'm talking about, so it's funny. But like,
Travolta had them little itty bitty shorts on
Yes.
and didn't leave a lot to
Hey,
the imagination.
It was a
Just
vibe.
saying.
It was a vibe. But anyway,
You could probably stream it somewhere. if
I
you-
would have thrived. Big hair and like the
Right.
colorful all stuff. But anyway,
the leg warmers.
leg warmers. Yes, seriously, I would have loved it. But the whole thing is that that when I work out, again, I'm not like it's not even that I'm angry, but it is just that of things of like life, right? Like it's that space. And that's why I'm so thankful for like the LYB gym and like, Crane Fitness sponsored that and Corn Health Fitness sponsored as well. And so that like I could have that space for myself, but then to have clients be like, hey, actually like that's a vibe. Like we would love to come in there and like, get our movement in, stuff like that. So it's like everywhere I go, I try to create safe spaces where people feel like they can just be their most authentic self. They can work through whatever they got to work through, but like, and leave a little bit better each day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's my whole thing with movement has always been there for me. It never talks back. It is, the thing that I don't have to rationalize with. I can be myself with it. Like, and that's why I say it multiple times. I wrote about it in my book as well, but like movement has saved my life, you know? And
in many ways, it saved my life too.
Yeah. And so again, I look at it as to your point about the therapy thing. We actually just had a therapist on. And so if you need a connection, like we got you.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Because she'll get you with anybody. She knows everybody.
Appreciate that.
But again, it's that external piece, right?
Yes.
It's like, yes, you have that outlet and like, so that's great for movement, but then it's like, okay, but I also want to continue to keep being better. So like, what's another avenue that maybe I could also get support? That's how I look at therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No doubt
of
about
like,
it.
because the way that I kind of have, the reason I started therapy was because again, I was going through like loss and things like that.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, I can handle all the stuff that I'm going through, like my stuff, I got it.
Yeah.
Working out, I can figure it out. Like all the things I dealt with, the verbal abuse, the body shaming, all that stuff, I got it. But when it was other people a part of me, like with a relationship, I was like, I don't have this. This is really heavy. I need more support for all of this part.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think, I love it that more men are getting into therapy. I think that it's not about, you have to go through something traumatic like I did to get into therapy. Probably should have been doing it before, right?
Sure.
But it has helped greatly.
Yeah.
Because it is that thing, that thing like movement for me that like, yes, the person's talking back, but it's in a different way.
Right.
Right?
Well, what I love about the movement, I'll talk about that first. What I love about the movement is, and I tell my clients all the time, and I'm sure you do the same with your clients, you can't be afraid to get your heart rate. Okay, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna get sweaty.
It's going to be uncomfortable.
You're gonna be uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Yes.
Mind, body, spirit, soul. The fact that you're just moving your body in a sense where your heart rate is elevated, you feel alive, man.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna be a little out of breath at first. Your lung capacity isn't where it needs to be.
Yeah.
But just give it a minute. It'll get there.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, when you're able to take that deep breath and you can feel it all the way down to like your navel, and you can go super hard in a workout.
Yes.
You feel so amazing afterwards, and it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah.
And as far as therapy goes, I agree with you. I love the fact that more men are not, because there was this stigma, right?
Yeah.
Therapy. Oh, you're weak-minded. I was one of those people. I was, and I've totally done a 180 on that because, your mental health is important. Yeah, you can. I'll just grind through.
But only for so long.
Yeah.
It eventually catches up to everyone. So if you're listening to this right now and you're like, oh, I don't know, because I was the same way. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And it does, because life happens. Things happen, and we do need that support. And as you get older, I mean, statistically, you're going to have less friends, like less close friends, right?
Yep.
And so it's like it gets smaller and smaller, the pool to like who you can talk to, and besides God, it's like, okay, we need that external, like person or somebody to.
This smart and worldly at 31 years old. You are amazing. When I was 31 years old, I couldn't even dress myself.
Oh my goodness. I appreciate that. Thank
killing
you.
it, kid.
Oh, thank you so much. Kid, look at this. I love it.
I just got done telling her that she's a year older than me, and then you come in here and you fix all that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say real quick on therapy too. I think that it's a really one of the biggest benefits is that you have a completely objective third party.
Exactly.
Yes.
They don't care about your feelings on it. They don't know about the complex inner workings between you and your mother and this and that.
Right.
Yeah.
All they know is that like my job is to tell you like what's really going on here, and so that's all that they like sometimes people are like you don't want to work with a therapist like that. You're paying them to talk to you. They don't really care. It's like no, they don't really care.
Right.
Like that's the point.
Exactly.
They care a
And-
lot actually. You got to think about the kind of person that would sit there and listen to other people's stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Not to say that, I was gonna say problems, but like it's not illegitimate. It's legitimate stuff.
Sure.
It's got to be so tough for that person to go home with every single day. You think that person doesn't care? They do care quite a lot, but they're actually professional
Yeah.
about the fact that they do care, but that's why they're professionals and other people aren't, because they know to separate it.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
So that's really, but it's really hard to even put into words like how beneficial that can be, because 99.9% of the people that you talk to have some either bias or they have some way that they're trying to twist the situation. They want to get this.
And it's hard to trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And with those people, like, yeah, you're paying them, but like, you're kind of paying for that trust because you automatically have it. You know that there's no ulterior motives here. They've already gotten what they wanted. You know, so now they're just here to help.
And
it's non-judgmental.
Exactly. Yes, and to that point, I don't know if you've dealt with this, and I've kind of mentioned this to some of my other podcast guests, but like, for example, when certain people talk to me, that's a lot of times they're talking like to Deity Fitness.
Right.
And they don't realize like that's how they're speaking, right? So, and then you have the other people that only speak to me like Danielle, like, you know, so it's like, so there's all this like dichotomy of things. So do you deal with that with being on the TV, like being on TV, like does that happen?
Yeah, because, you know,
because people see you in this way.
Right. Because when I'm on TV or I'm on the radio presenting, it's me, but it's me with the volume turned.
Yeah, it's a higher self.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm normally not, hey, everybody. And this,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a laid back, chill dude. So there's JB and there's John.
Yeah.
JB is the radio guy.
Yeah.
You know, JB is the guy on TV wearing the suits and you know, doing whatever.
Yeah.
John is just the guy just chilling and go to the gym, get a little workout in, you know, go around the corner, get some food, sit on the couch, just chill, you know, talking with Daddy D, having a good time. So, a lot of times people
kind of
think
classify
I'm
you.
JB all the time, you know, it's like on a day off, right? I get out of the gym, I go to the grocery store, and people are like, oh, not on TV tonight? I'm like, I'm
right.
You know, I'm dripping sweat and I'm unshaven.
What is it about the grocery store? That happened in Danielle too, where people always, hey y'all, if someone comes at me in the grocery store, we're gonna have problems. Like, don't do that. Don't come look at my cart. Don't come ask me what I'm having. Like, don't ask me what you should get. Like,
Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
When growing up in the Northeast, it's different than you mentioned, like the difference where I come from and where I live now. When I first moved here, right, I'm getting everything settled in. I'm like, all right, got the apartment situated. All right, I'm gonna go around the corner, get some food, fill up the fridge in the cupboard, right? And I think I was wearing a Syracuse T-shirt on, and I'm from the Northeast, and I'm just walking through with my cart or whatever, and this total stranger comes up and is like, "Hey, buddy, you from Syracuse?" I was like, "Whoa, hey, whoa, wait, what's up? Who are you? What's your name? What's your handle? It's just how we are in the Northeast."
Yes.
I had to get used to the fact that, you know, people are just that way down here.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've been out on the town, and I'll just be hanging out, just by myself, having a beverage, just, you know, taking it all in.
Yeah.
People just walk up to me.
Yeah.
I guess I'm that guy.
Yeah.
People just walk up to me like, "Hey, buddy, you look like a real stand-up guy. I'm gonna buy you a drink." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're
But
like,
I kind of like that.
yeah.
You know, it's kind of cool that people, you know, it's kind of like you give off this real, you know, cool aura.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I met you, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's cool. I'm gonna go talk to her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go introduce myself.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And when I saw your presentation, I guess people see us as just like regular down to earth people.
Yeah.
We have like this kind of energy about us. You know, I'm really into people's energies.
Yes, 100%.
And so when COVID happened and we're isolated, I'm just not doing anything. I'm just kind of hanging out by myself.
Yeah.
That's what I miss the most, is just the energy of other people.
Yeah.
I really, really feed off of that, and I can tell you do too.
Oh yeah, definitely. What did you like when you were going through that? Like, so I guess, you know, my question is because, you know, I think a lot of my listeners would love to hear from your point of view, because we talk about all the time of like me being single and then like, you know, just like the female dynamic. And I have a lot of clients I train that are in their 40s now and they're still single or whatever. And they, you know, are looking at it of, they get stereotyped as like, what's wrong with them?
Exactly.
So has that happened to you? Like, okay.
Yeah. It's like, you know, hell, I'm a unicorn, man. I'm a black guy my age. Never been married, no kids. I don't have a single tattoo on me.
Yeah.
Never been arrested. No, let me stop. But
Right.
I'm sorry.
Hey, we're gonna background check you after this. Make sure, like.
Yeah, we'll fix that in post.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's not so much that
No.
for me, it's not so much that people ask, "Hey, what's wrong with you?"
Right.
I think people are
thinking that.
"Hey, what's wrong with you?"
And that's what they think too. Like that's a projection thing. Like like I've told them before. I'm like, no one cares. Like literally, no one's looking at you, being like, you know what I mean?
You and I talked about that recently.
You said what?
You and I talked about that recently a couple
Yeah.
times, where it's like you realize, and we were talking about it because I do the same thing, and I just like was noticing it with her, but like, it's like more often than not, if you really step out and think about it, and I think the way that I asked her was like, has someone, I don't even remember what the conversation
Yeah.
She said like, people say it or whatever, and I actually asked her like,
Yeah.
pretty simply like, did someone actually say that to you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no. It's like,
right.
so like it's, and
But
again,
you build
I
up this paranoia,
Right.
You have this story that you create in your head.
Exactly.
And I was talking
Right.
to my sister about this, and it's like a psychological thing. You want to like take ownership of something that you created, right? So you create this story in your head, and then you attach to it, and you want to prove it right. A.
Yes.
You do things that prove it right, whether you realize it or not. But B,
Right.
you like create that ownership of it, and don't realize that that's not even like what either A, nobody even cares, or
Right.
B, like that's even,
So-
if they have thought about it, that's not what they thought. Like it's
Right.
it's not.
But you get it
real.
in your own mind.
Right.
Yeah,
Well-
what are they thinking about? me?
And that's why I try to like when I go out or I do things, I try to always, document it, put it up or whatever, because I want more, women and men to both see that like you going to eat by yourself. Like I've always loved to eat by myself. Like I don't mind that.
Go to movies by
And so
myself,
yeah,
watch
go to the
TV by
movies.
myself. I love it.
Exactly. And but they won't do that a lot of times. And so I try to be like, okay, here's an example of somebody that you think is great or whatever, is your trainer you look up to or whatever, that is also okay with doing these things. Like that's a negative stereotype that someone made up a long time ago to make you feel bad about yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's not saying that that's weird or that's uncomfortable or whatever. And so to go do more things like that and show up for yourself and go do them, like if you really want to do it, don't let, because you have to go by yourself, dictate your life. Or same thing with like your weight. And we were just talking about that on the episode before this, is like about, not waiting to go travel, not waiting to go get married, like wait, or whatever. Like when I look this way, then life can start.
Right.
Then everything's going to be great. I know there's so many people listening right now that are doing that are sitting there,
I'm guilty of that. I'm the kick the can down the road guy. Well, sooner or later, I'm gonna run out of road, right?
Yeah.
So,
So we'll talk about that. So so when you're sitting there, let's paint it back to like COVID time, right? Like, and you actually had time to sit, right?
Yeah.
To be like, cause I mean, did you have work during that time? Did you still go?
yeah, I still went to work.
Okay.
And it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
At the TV station, like really the on-air people were the only people that were there. All the producers and all the other people worked from home. But we would actually show up and get tested, and we'd have to wear a mask into the building.
Yeah.
And if I'm sitting at my desk writing a script, I can take the mask off. If I get up to use the restroom or
You have to
go
put it
into
back
the
on.
newsroom to talk to somebody, I gotta put it back on and that kind of thing. And then actually for radio, one of my bosses, he actually offered. He said, hey, I live in Bellevue. I can wire your place up and you can do the show from home. And I said, no, I want to get in the car, and
Go
drive somewhere,
have purpose.
have
Yeah.
a place to go every morning. So
Right.
our show was the only show that did it in studio.
I love that. Yeah.
Now, I ended up getting COVID.
My gosh.
But
Yeah.
it's the only time I've had it that I'm aware of. So,
Yeah.
it was fun. But I like the fact that I had to get up in the morning,
Yeah.
get in the car, and drive somewhere.
Right.
And that was great for me mentally.
Yeah.
Because if I had just hung out in my pajamas, it's
Yeah.
radio, I can wear what I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hung out,
Yeah.
in my kitchen or my living room doing a radio show. I don't think I would have gotten out of it
Yeah.
what I wanted. So I like the fact that I could actually go someplace. And even into the TV studio where there were all kinds of restrictions, I still like the fact that I had a place to go. I had a
Yes.
reason to get out of bed and go somewhere in the morning.
Exactly.
That did a lot for me mentally.
Yeah, and I think with everyone, I think right now a lot of people, like the whole idea is to like not really work and to go travel and just and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that like, okay, maybe that's nice for a week, maybe that's nice for 2 weeks, whatever, right? But eventually you're gonna learn and you're gonna figure out that like if you don't have purpose, you really don't have anything.
Yes.
And a lot of that is a lot of people's jobs, right? And so they pour themselves into that. So I want to ask you, because I've had it where I've put Danny Fitness is like top priority, right? For a long time, because I feel like this is like God's work, like this is my mission, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's been hard to balance the social part of everything too, and doing better with that now. But like, did you sit at that time and be like, man, I wish that I would have made more time to put myself out there in relationships?
Sure.
Was it, or was it that you had been trying and just things didn't work out? Like, what was kind of like that?
It was
Like
a little bit of both. I kind of, to be honest, use the excuse of, I'm just so into my career. And listen, when you work in TV sports, right?
Yeah.
When the sporting events happen, nights and weekends.
Yeah. Right.
Where most people have their free time, nights and weekends.
Yeah.
So it was hard to meet people, but that being said, I met some amazing women in my life.
Yeah.
Right? And, at some point, you have to step up. You have to make that decision. I'm going to step up and, I'm going to do what I need to do to make this relationship work. And, I wasn't always willing to do that, or I wasn't always maybe comfortable or confident in doing that.
So do you feel like, though, when you reflect back, because like I look at life where I try not to regret anything, you know what I mean? Because it happened. Like, you can't change, you can't go back. Like, could I have done things differently?
You can't go back. And
yes, the DeLorean's not here. Like,
I would love to go back and change. Believe me.
Yeah.
But
So
that's part of that. But that's part of your journey, right?
Right. And do you look at it as, do you feel like you've learned from those, like from that? Okay. And so, because that's another thing too. Some people don't. They just keep, and so then they look at, they're like, okay, I'm in the same spot. But I kind of look at it as I'm comforted by, I'm actively working on myself and actively trying to, either find new ways to do things or put myself out of there and do like, step out of my comfort zone or whatever. Right. To, and so I don't know. So that's how I look at it of, I might not, be married or have that relationship or whatever, but I'm still stepping closer than I would have been if I continued to live in that cycle of the nonsense, right?
Well, yeah, because a lot of times we wait, I want to wait until I'm making this amount of money, or I'm this far into my career, or this or whatever, To meet the right person, you got to go for it.
Right.
I was telling you just off camera a couple seconds ago, it was a great song. One of my all-time favorite artists is Brian McKnight.
Okay.
And he has a song off the album Back at One.
Okay.
Hit Back at One in the 90s. There's a song on that album called Cherish.
Okay.
It's kind of a warning sign for all these dudes that like to kick the can down
Y'all
the road.
listen up. Y'all listen up.
It's, all the kick the can down. I should probably step up. But you know what? She'll be there. She'll understand.
Right.
Sooner or later, you're going to wake up one morning and she's going to be like, I'm over your crap.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. So it's called Cherish by Brian McKnight. Stream it, check it out.
Yeah.
It's a warning for all you dudes out there, and I guess women too. That are doing the same thing. They have that same kind of mindset.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
So do you? I guess I would say this. Like, do you feel like? What steps are you taking now?
The stuff I'm revealing to you, man. That's how good you are. I don't talk like this in interviews.
You don't?
No.
This is exclusive? I love it.
You're getting some good stuff out of me, Davey.
It's because it's just a.
You're good, man. You're good.
Call me out after the episode, okay? It's just what I do. It's what they pay me the big bucks for, But no, so I love that you, like I said, are being open to share, because again, it is very important, because they know, they've listened to me, talk about it constantly, because it's like it is brought up a lot, like in terms of society and whatever, and there's like the pressure and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, I've never felt like rushed or felt like a pressure. And I feel like that's because of my relationship with God. So for me, it's like, I know that He always brings people into my life, like everything, every influencership, everything, whatever, like anything that I have tried to like will and like force has never worked out. So why would a relationship in that aspect like work out? You know what I mean? Like trying to force something or make something happen or whatever, versus when, He brings something into your life and then you having the discernment to see it and actually act on it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I think that's a big thing too, that people get clouded because they're so busy, they're so rushing. And you've probably seen the memes or the videos where like a girl's looking at her phone and like 50 dudes pass by, they run by. You know what I mean? But she's so focused on like the apps or the past relationship or the resentment or like, yes. And like in being in such that negative space versus being open and being like, oh my goodness, like look at all the men that just passed by. Maybe I'll go talk to one of them or like.
Thing, man. I mean, it's like, it's okay to put your phone down and just go for a walk. Or,
yes.
Leave your phone in the car when you're going to the grocery store. You're going into get something to eat by yourself. You never know who you're gonna bump into.
Yeah.
Who you might meet, right?
Yeah.
Just be open to the possibilities, right?
For sure.
That's the key because we're just glued to these damn phones all the time. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's important for what we do.
Right.
Being fitness people and having clients, and we want to put ourselves out there and let everybody know, hey, we're here for you. We're going to help you out. Just come see us. That kind of thing. But at the same time, you gotta, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when there was no social media.
Yeah.
There was no internet.
Yes. Oh yeah.
There was, there were no cell phones or anything like that. So, we survived.
Yes, exactly. And that's where
there was no Google Maps. You gave me the address and I figured out a way to get there.
Nah. I had to print out the Google Maps. Like, someone's like, come over to my house. I'm like, okay, Google Maps, printed, and then I'll go.
I was looking into this with Margaret on the way back from, we went to North Carolina and a bunch of I-40 was shut down because of the hurricane and stuff. And so we went there for a honeymoon, and on the way back, we had to take the route again, the opposite way, just all this stuff. And anyways, I was saying that. I was like, I don't know how, like, a lot of the stuff I like to think that I could, come on, you're being pretty soft. And then when it comes to mass, I'm like, no, I need that.
I
use that whenever, I've come here 1,000 times. I use it every single time. I like to see if there's going to be traffic. I like to see.
Right.
Like, I don't know how people do that.
Well, back in my day, we had the old Rand McNally map that you bought at the gas station.
Oh.
Where you got your MapQuest directions and you print them off.
Oh my gosh, I did that. Yes, that was so ridiculous. But but no, it's so funny because sometimes I'll be like, don't be lazy, just use your head and like stop using, because like I'll drive in Murfreesboro. I'm like, you've lived here your whole life. Stop the nonsense. Like, you don't need it, because they're like, the excuses like, oh, I want to see the traffic. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, just take there a second and like
or the
push.
Cops, or the speed traps.
Whatever. But
I can't. And like, to your point though, it's like you go somewhere 5 minutes away, you spend 3 minutes putting it into your GPS.
Right.
Like, what are we even doing here?
No, exactly. And that's what I really enjoyed too about, like, so I'm doing right now my Fight for What You Want challenge. So I do 3 different challenges a year, sometimes 4, but my main ones are Get Your Movement In, Love Your Body, and then Fight for What You Want. And so they're all different challenges. And this one is 10,000 steps a day for 10 weeks. And so I've been trying to get my steps in more and everything like that. And so I'll walk, like I said, to the gym, or I'll walk down that way. And like, even doing that, you just see so much, and it's just so, and it's cool because like even the new developments, so then the real estate, so then I'm thinking about houses, like, so it is really cool. And I try to stay off my phone. I'll like listen to a podcast or, whatever I got to do while I'm on my walks and stuff. And that's been really good for like my mental health too, to kind of be away from like working and not, because I do have to pay attention, because it is like, there's sidewalks, but not the whole way, like I'm going over the bridge. Like, it's like, not the safest, but that's something where even when like China was in town, my best friend, she came in, and I like didn't really look at my phone or work that entire day. And that was super nice, but it is challenging. So I will ask you this, like, do you feel like you're at the stage right now, like where you said like you're kind of marketing yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you like decompress? Like, is it besides working out? Like, do you go for walks? Like, is the movies your vibe? Like, what do you like?
Yeah, what I started doing this past summer was like, I usually get up for my radio show at 7:30 because it starts at 9.
Uh-huh.
But I've been getting up like a hour earlier, and just going for like a 40-minute walk. I got a path that I moved out in Bellevue, and it's just a simple little walk.
Yeah.
It just clears my head.
Yes.
And it just helps me, like you said, decompress. I just take a deep breath. I pop in, like you said, a podcast, and I just go for a walk.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what that does for me.
Right.
And it's just, I feel so mentally clearer, and I just feel really, really ready to attack the day.
Yeah.
And it's just all it is. I'm just walking. I do it
Right.
on an empty stomach, so
Yeah.
burn a little bit, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Jay Cutler does it. So
Yeah. Jay Cutler. I love that.
jaywalking. I mean, I love his YouTube channel is great. I got to meet him at the Fit Expo, which was great.
You were at the Fit Expo?
Yeah.
You didn't come by the D&D booth?
Well, had I known.
You didn't see a girl on stage dancing?
I did not.
Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah,
I was zeroed in on interviewing Jay Cutler.
So I trust me. Wait. Did you
meet Jay?
Yeah, so I met him. So the first year for the Music Fit Expo, so Roy brought him over to me because I was like one of the lead sponsors, and so I got to meet him there, took a picture, whatever. But I didn't get to ask him what he loved about his body because I go around asking people that question, and so that line was crazy, and I had just come off stage and whatever, and I was like, if I don't do it now. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So I literally, low key, he was talking to like 6 dudes, and there's a whole line, and so I just stood right up by like Terry's wife, and I was like. Yeah, I just real quick, just gonna ask Jay a quick question, just gonna jump in real quick. She's like, oh yeah, just like I was supposed to do it or whatever. And I was like, hey Jay, and I went in and I did the interview, and I was like, Anna, you got it? Okay, and just rolled out, and I didn't even look at the people in the line. I was like, sorry about it.
Get it out.
I did because I just knew, because I remember it was the year before. The line was so long that even to the end of the day, it was like,
he's
and
amazing.
He's so great. He talks
every single person.
Yes.
He will not leave until the last person.
And I regretted that first year, and I was like, next year I will get the interview. Like I will get the thing. And he was so sweet. And he like shared it on his profile. And, like that was super cool. Like I appreciate it. Like just down to earth, And so so that was like really special. So but yeah, I didn't realize you were there. That's so cool.
So I do the walks in the morning to help decompress, and I kid about the whole Johnny Nashville thing, but I'm a regular at a lot of spots.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll just go, and I might have a beverage, I might not, but I'll just kind of sit there and just talk with my friends that are working there, and we just have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily out there. Oh, I'm gonna get all wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the times I'm just that's how I decompress. I just kinda chill and I people watch.
Yes.
I usually stand by the
Oh
well,
yeah, it's cool.
and because being from New York, you don't want your back to the door.
Yeah.
Any establishment that you're in, you want to be able to see everything in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about any illegal activity or nothing like that. I don't know nothing. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming in, I hear you.
Yeah, I don't see nothing. But anyway, and I just people watch, and that just helps me unwind and just kind of flush out all the crap that's going on in my head, and that helps me really decompress and just chill, man.
So I'm curious about this, and you can answer or not answer, but so have you tried the dating apps and all of that kind of scene?
Yeah, I've dabbled in that a little bit.
So literally, I can't stand them, and I tell all my clients that they'll be like, "Oh, I think we get on them," and I'm like, "Don't just don't do it."
If you're gonna do it, just do it for fun. I mean, just realize you can't take it super seriously. You can't take it super seriously. If you want to have fun with it, do it. But if you're looking for your soulmate, you're probably not going to find him or her. Yeah. If we're being
right.
Am I speaking?
No. You're speaking. No, exactly. But that's why I was wondering. So, because I'm like, if you're, it seems like pretty personable. Like when you're out, you're talking to people. I've gotten to the point where I'm not really going to bars and stuff because I don't drink often. So for me, when I go to places, it's more for my own release and stuff. So I don't really talk to a lot of people. I've noticed that. You know what I mean? What? I'm not sitting there with a book, trying to you know what I mean? I'm not that girl. But if I'm trying to eat and the bartender keeps talking to me, I'm not like, hey man, I'm trying to eat my burger. You know what I mean? So. But it's just one of those things where I try to now to be more open to talking to people and stuff like that. So I wonder, do you feel it's just when you go to those places that you're just not having finding quality people, or is it just it's hard for you as a man to be hey, would you want to go out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us too, because with females, everyone's oh, let them come up to you, but then don't be too assertive. So I want to hear from your perspective.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. The stuff gets in your head, right? It's oh, okay, she's cute. Seems like she's by herself. Do I go up? Do I not go up?
Right.
What's a good opening line? How do I ease into the conversation? competition, and then you psych yourself out.
Yeah.
And you wind up doing nothing.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, I get that. And I try to look at it too, like that of like, you know, it really is hard on both ends. It's not all up to the man. It's all up to the woman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to have that mutual
little give and take,
something. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no,
it's got to happen. It's got to be organic. It's got to happen naturally.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But we get in our own heads. You know,
Yeah.
And we're, like I said, we end up psyching ourselves out, and then nothing happens.
Yeah. So you'd said to me when we went to the LYB that you said that you're like, you gotta tell me about this. So like, what kind of questions do you have like about? Because I know you've just kind of experienced like the brand and seen everything and like here recently. So what's been kind of some things that you've like?
Well, I'm trying to get to where you're at.
What?
I want to be able to sit in my house and do a podcast and have multiple cameras and my own sponsored gym out in the back. I want to be the male version of you. I want to know how you got all this. You wrote a damn book. I mean, this is what I want.
Logan, shut up. Ooh, I can't. That's a lot. I don't know.
How did we get here, Dan?
How did we get here? There,
It's a funny story. Just to maybe this will kick off where she wants to go. But we worked together since, since 2018.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked together for a really long time, and I've seen her kind of grow everything. You know, obviously, been played a small part in that over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong. I try to tell her all the time like that she needs to make sure. Like we were talking earlier about about a message that she got from somebody, and talking about how like that they really weren't feeling well with themselves and weren't taking care of themselves, and now they are, and they won the category for this pageant that she had that was in there. So like it was all very Danny related in a full circle moment. And it's like I was saying to her then, it's like, you know, a lot of people that have, and I work with, obviously, so I hear this said a lot, but a lot of people will say, like, you know, if we're impacting one person, if one person sends me a message like that, you know, but a lot of people don't actually really mean that, because if they get that message, it does nothing. It doesn't phase them. It doesn't get their radar out. Yeah. And sometimes that's because you just got so much going on that you got to really step back and, like, recognize what a big deal that it is. Some of it's that, which is why we were talking about it. But some of it's because that's not really what you care about. What you really care about is how can you monetize off of this person, or how can you whatever. But when you really
What's in it for me?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
When you really get a message like that, it's pretty incredible. And so I just wanted to throw that in there that I worked with her for a long time, and I try as much as I can where it's my place to do so, to be like, hey, take a second before we move on to the next thing. Like really think about that.
Right. And I appreciate that because like things just move really fast for me. And I know like some people could be like, because a lot of times people be like, oh, you're just so busy and like whatever. It's like, I'll make time for anything that I want to make time for. Exactly. But it's like, I love that. Like, so that's why I love New York, because that grind of like, oh, there's this opportunity, there's this, whatever. Like, let's just keep going with the momentum. So I really enjoy that. And I always have. And so, but for a long time, nothing was happening. And people forget about that. Like when I first started my business, I mean, even that first year, I didn't really have a fitness routine for myself. I tried to do online program. I'm like, I don't know. I just felt very like kind of down. And
so
I,
what was the breakthrough?
Well, which one? Like, which one do you want to know about? Because, like, in short, when I was in college, I got to a point where I started teaching group fitness, and I was doing like creating MoveFit, okay? And I was sitting there, and I had a laptop, and I would do my dances, I'd record it to see how it looked, and I'd watch it back to remember the choreography. And I remember looking at myself and being like, "That's not me," and I was like, That's not me. Like, I didn't see myself that way. So I had major body dysmorphia and didn't realize like the weight that I had put on, the things, whatever. And cause I kept, moving and stuff, but this is after freshman year, drinking, all the things, whatever. And I wasn't competitively dancing anymore. So I was like, no, we got to fix something. So I got kind of on a routine with food, kind of got like into back in the day, I was like Advocare, stuff like that, whatever. And I did that, and that started making me feel better, because then I'm like, oh, the nutrition is important. okay, let's like put that together. So, okay, so now I got movement, which I love. So good movement. And then, okay, some fuel. So like, okay, good fuel. And then like, okay, here I feel better when I'm more positive. So like, cause I had gotten really low. Like I was sitting there, I talk about my book. I'm sitting there. It's a Tuesday, freaking Tuesdays, man, the worst. As we're recording on a Tuesday. But yeah, but it literally, and I was sitting there eating a calzone at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like going through these routines and I'm like, this is not the life that I want. Right. You know, I can be better. So I was kind of settling for like what everyone kind of put me in this box. And I refused to do that. Even at a young age from dancing, I always danced to powerful numbers and songs that were like about defying the stereotypes. Like there's a song called They by Jim. And I put that actually in my stories today, but you can listen and whatever. But those words, like, it literally is like that we're all kind of being brainwashed. We're all following like fools. And that was at 14, y'all. So I've always had this innate sense that like I am meant to do like incredible things by just being myself. But because there's all these people that kind of impacted me or tried to tell me or like, you need to be less, you need to be this, you need to hide, you whatever, to put me in this box, I was just like, no, I'm breaking out of that. So when I had that kind of moment, I was like doing it for myself, got into, you know, stopped having 2 liters of soda every day. And, you know, and I focused on, you know, just that love for myself. And so I started feeling better and then went to Vermont and learned about how people up there were talking about like body positivity. But for me, it was more so finally people were acknowledging that you could be beautiful, which is what I always said, like I'm beautiful, but like at a larger size, you know what I'm saying? Or like not the stereotypical. Right. And so when I heard that, I was like, thank you. I'm going to bring that back down to Tennessee because nowhere ever did anyone ever acknowledge that. Right. It was always something's wrong with you or, you know, and these are things that were said to me like, oh, well, if you were just this, you'd be perfect. Oh, if you were this, you know what I mean? And anyway, or like, oh, you dance. And like, I'm like, no, like, of course I dance. Like I'm strong. I can flip, I can tumble, I can whatever. Like, oh really? It's like, yes, you know, you can be athletic and still not be a size, whatever. Right. And so anyway, so all that to say, that was a huge breakthrough. So I was like, okay, I'm going to change the way that we view fitness and our bodies here. Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I can do it around the world, whatever. Right. But I was like, let me just start here. Right. And so started that in Franklin. And then when I started my business, I was like, this is my time to literally get out of a negative situation that I was in. And, which is like male coaches and people taking advantage and all the things and whatever. And telling me that like, you're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. And I was like, if not now, when? You know what I mean? Right. So like got my bands made up, like those bands that you got around your wrist. Like I've had them since day one. Like, you know what I mean? Since I started my business 2017, August 1st, like had shirts printed out, had, you know, all these different things. Right. And was just like, I'm going to hit this so hard of like, you won't be able to not know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so, you know, just like, again, always push back and push or made to see that I was some type of way. And I was like, you know what? Then see me however you want to see me, but I can't control how you see me. I can only control how I see me. And so when I started really sitting into like who I was and my love for myself, like that was the game changer. And so when I did that and started my business, I was because of the sole purpose of, honestly, I never wanted anyone to be treated how I'd always been treated. And if I can build that community, because I didn't have that community, I never felt like I fit in the fitness community. A lot of times I still don't feel like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, and I was like, well, I'm not a competitive dancer anymore. I'm not this or whatever. So I was like, where am I? So I was like, I'm just going to create my own reality. And so that's how Dandy Fitness was formed. And then, you know, I realized that, oh man, like no one loves their body. You know what I mean? And when you really sat and talked to people and complaining about how they just hated every part of their life and of their body, it was just like, oh no, like I don't want that to be me. Like I live that and I just didn't want that. So pretty much like from there, I just stuck to what I knew. And so my first year of business, I didn't really have like a structured workout plan for myself, put everything into all my people. And then I started to get kind of like depressed a little bit. I'm like, man, like movement has to be priority. Like I got to find what makes sense for me. And so it was like the next I think it was like a year and a half into my business, Nashville Fit had they were going to put on this Nashville Fit Games and whatever. And they're like, Danny, like, one of the guys that owned it, I think, could you come compete in it? And I was like, I mean, I've been just doing this online program. I've been moving, but like, I don't really have a structure, but you know what? Sure. And I ended up getting second. And I was like, okay, let's go. And so then I saw a guy there that was a trainer, and I ended up meeting with him, Matt McQuiston, and he was fantastic. But he was like, let's start training together. It was very expensive at the time, so this was a huge investment. I wasn't making that much money. I was still living at my parents' house, driving every day from Murfreesboro to Franklin, okay? And then also at the time, Nashville too. So Murfreesboro to Franklin and Nashville every day, okay? Had no boundaries, training late at night, training early in the morning, craziness, okay? And literally, and I go train with him under a bridge, and he would just train me like he had equipment and stuff or whatever. And that was one of those moments where, like, when I started feeling better in myself, and then everything, that led into strongman competitions. Wow. And so me and him ended up going strongman. Like, it all started flowing because, like, movement had to be present for me, and I had to put myself first. Right. But, like, again, keeping the mission, a part of all of it, right? Yeah. And so I think for me it was like, I don't know, I stayed consistent with everything that I did. Like, I've always had my sayings: get your movement in, love your body throughout, fight for what you want. I always showed up for my people, and I've been lucky and fortunate to have amazing people that God's brought into my life,
But you created that energy that brought those people.
Yeah.
I believe in that. I believe in that positive energy scope that brings good people that are going to be worth your while into your life. I really do believe in that.
Yeah, and I think that, again, that was the point of when I had an outlet of, like, strongman competitions. When I had that outlet, that was like, I became happier. I became my healthier version of myself. And so that's why it's always like, even now my girls will know if I'm, like, having to finish up a workout, like, as they're getting started with their workout, or, like, whatever it is, like, oh, she's going to be better for me because she put that as a priority. Right. Same thing with my food, same thing with all of it. So, like I said, it's been amazing. And the biggest thing with me is, I think where I get most frustrated is, like, when I look at it I don't want to be social media famous for the sake of being social media famous. Okay. I want it to be so that the masses can see the mission. Right. You know what I mean? I want it to be so that the 14-year-old who is maybe having suicidal ideations or whatever can see a girl in a body like me be able to do incredible things and love herself and be like, man, like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to what people are saying. I'm going to, like, stay in on my path. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. And that's so important. I think now more than ever.
Yeah. And we need more representation of it. And, like, and that's the thing too. And I'll bring this up about the, like, Alana girl. She's, like, a rugby player. She's on Dancing with the Stars. Oh yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everyone has like she's super cool, right? She's a larger frame body, but she has very little body fat, y'all. She's got a lot of muscle, but it's just she's bigger, quote unquote, right? So it looks different, and we internalize that as bad, right? Like, bigger is bad. And that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? She's very healthy. She's very strong. She's amazing, whatever. And that's how I view myself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that's why I try to tell people, and we talked about this earlier, me and Logan did, about how I've been able to do incredible things at any body size, whether it was running half marathons, whether it was competing in bodybuilding, whether it was lifting tire, like, whatever it was. I saw you lift that tire. That was thank you. Thank you so much.
I went through this entire thing without mentioning it. I was actually going to bring it up.
Logan, I'm trying to do better about it, okay?
What are we talking about here?
Dude.
That was that one thing that happened.
That was dope.
But thank you. And that was what was so...
Well, we did like, just to bring it back to this one more time, the main thing that I did with her before the podcast was her move fit events. Mm-hmm. So I've done dozens of those with her
all over.
Every single one of them is at a different location. Like, every single. I don't think we've ever doubled up on location once. Mm-hmm. But I told her that after the tire flip thing happened, which you said that you've seen, so you kind of get the point, but it went super viral, and etc. But right after that, she got an opportunity with Shape Magazine, and we went and did. It wasn't move fit, but it was doing a workout. It was kind of similar at Nissan Stadium, and so like I remember telling her before we went in there.
So it was on the field.
Yeah, I remember telling her before.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I remember telling her before we went in there, like, I was with you whenever there was like 6 people here, and like, like, you should take a minute and really realize like how far. Yeah. And that was years ago now at this point. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and that was so cool, and that's why I like when I really write it out, because I was having, I'd had some health stuff happen after the bodybuilding shows. And I remember sitting here and I was trying to find some positivity and stuff. So I wrote on a whiteboard every move fit that I've ever done that I could remember. I was going through my photos and whatever. And it's filling up 2 huge whiteboards. And I'm like, and I'm even forgetting some. And right. And I really encourage people to do that. And it's not about looking in the past. I wasn't like looking at that, but I was learning from all of those, like which ones went right, which ones were my favorite, what went well, you know what I mean? And like I was one of the first fitness activations to happen at 5th and Broadway. So, and then on the big billboard, like I was on there and that was incredible. Like I loved that. And so like that was a huge moment. And so I look at those and be like, okay, how do we create more of these opportunities and these things? And so I'm always thinking, but so like for me, it's like, I just wish that, you know, I'm like, what more can I do to help the more people? But then again, what he's saying is when you get that one message or you get that one, like I got a text from a client that I haven't seen in 2 years that was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like I constantly tell myself to fight for what I want. I kind of got off of it, but now I'm like back on it and I'm feeling good. And like your voice has always been there with me. And like those, so cool, right? And that means, and people will send me a random thing. They'll take a picture of their band and send it to me and they're like, hey, I just want to let you know, like I'm getting my movement in today or whatever. And some people have never even trained. So cool. And that's why I try to tell people that this is more than just being a personal trainer. Like this is a body positive fitness brand. And it's for anybody that's willing to fight for what they want. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you have to get to that point where you're sitting on the couch eating a calzone and you're like, I'm at the point where I want to love myself throughout. And that's being healthy. That's mind, body, spirit, all of it. And until you can be, you know, until I can feel good with that, like I'm going to continue to keep fighting in that, you know? And so anyway, so yeah, so I guess in short, which was really long, like, yeah, I don't know, like consistency and also putting it out there too.
Right. And well, I was just going to say, just being bold and putting yourself out there and, you know, not being afraid to fail, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
probably
the biggest thing, right?
No, that's a huge thing because again, when you stop caring what others think or how they perceive you, that eliminates so much nonsense or things that are going to stop you, right? So if you believe that you can accomplish these amazing things, then you can. There was nothing like, I will talk to anyone. I will go, put me on Good Morning America, put me on the show, whatever you want me to do, put me, like, I would love to still, I want to manifest this, but I want to be at Nissan Stadium in the center in front of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people doing MoveFit, doing activation to promote health, whatever you want to do, like for whoever, I know that it can happen. So I'm going to continue to keep putting that out there because there is a world where that does happen, right? Yeah. And so again, it's like I see these visions and I have these glimpses of things and like, I know that if I keep putting it out there and keep doing, like helping people and having determination, that those things will happen.
Right. You're putting that positive energy out there. I mean, that was one of the things, I went through something similar, you know, during COVID. I failed to mention this earlier. They had me do, at the end of the Sportscast, these like 1 minute little workout things. Just
nice.
Get people off the couch
during
COVID, you know, and just little hit workouts or something like that. And so I would tape a bunch of them on a Tuesday or whatever. Yeah. Brian would come out, my buddy Brian would come out and shoot them, and I'd do like 2 weeks worth.
Yeah.
And so it would be at the end of every Sportscast. Like, I forgot what they called it, like JB's Fit Minute or something like that. And the feedback I got from that, because at first I was like, oh, this is going to suck. People are going to hate this.
Right.
So many people were like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And, you know, your workouts were great. They really, you know, helped me through COVID and stuff like that. And it was designed to be, hey, just take 10 minutes and just, you know, do like a little hit workout, 10, 12 minutes, 15 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then go back to, you know, sitting on the couch and
watching
Netflix or whatever. At least you know you did something.
100%.
And like you said, when you get that positive feedback, it keeps you going.
Yeah.
And it keeps you motivated even during those tough times where not a lot's happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? If I just keep grinding, I'm going to affect somebody in a positive way.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, and being open to those opportunities. Yeah. Like, that's the thing, too, about, like, with being so busy and whatever. Like I tell people, I will literally always take it under advisement up to see, you know, like I'm not going to be rude and be like, oh, no, I don't have time for that or whatever. Like, I could have easily been like, oh, that Vanderbilt thing for, like, the students. Like, I don't, like, you know what I mean? But it was just like, you never know what that could lead to. You don't know whatever. So it was one of those things where it wasn't out of my, like, it didn't put me in a strain to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and it was a fun, nostalgic thing. And so, yeah, so like showing up to those things and all the different ways, like that is how you're going to create true change, you know?
100% right.
And
Why can't more people think like you?
I mean, if they listen to this podcast, maybe they will. So we just got to grow that.
No,
Got to
you're right.
grow these
Well,
subscribers.
I will do everything in my part to help you grow this.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And like I said, it does. That is the biggest thing too. I do want to point out that the people who have shared this podcast, the people who have worn a Dainty Fitness shirt, the people who have come to a Move Fit event, right? Have drank Fight Energy, that maybe have never met me but bought it in stores, whatever, bought it online. Like all of that grows the brand.
Right.
And grows the mission. You know what I mean? Because you never know, like, who's going to see walking down the street someone that has a shirt that says love your body. And then they're like, man, like, I was having a really bad day, but you know what? Like, they're right. Yeah. I should love my body. Right. Why not? Like, you don't know that confidence could instill in someone that maybe is feeling super low, or they see Fight for What You Want and they're like, dang, like, yeah.
It's such a simple thing, but it's like, yeah, I need to fight for what I want.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody's going to give it to me. I got to fight for it.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. And so like, that's where it's just.
That's kind of where Just Believe comes from. My little
yeah.
thing. Just believe,
Yeah.
You got a vision. You got something you want to do.
When I think.
Just believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in, your journey.
Yeah.
And just go for it, right?
Exactly. And I think that we look at sometimes we're like, oh, it could be so simple, right? But people need to hear it multiple times. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And see it all the time. And that is where I hope that when people, wake up in the morning and stuff like that, like they hear that, they see that, they're like, okay, like I'm going to have a more positive day. I'm going to start off with getting my movement in, I'm going to start like drinking some Fight or whatever it is, like just believing in myself. Like all of these things, you guys, are life changing. And I believe that movement will not only better yourself, but it will better your financial, it will better your relationships. It will better all of those things.
Definitely.
If you let it,
Yeah.
So
you just got to be open to it.
Exactly. But as we close out, because it's been amazing, I know we could talk for hours.
I can do this all day.
Right? I know, right? But
you're really good at this, man.
Thank you.
You're really good at this.
I'd love to have my own show someday. Like maybe I'll just like make it happen. Like,
for sure.
But no, I was gonna say that I ask everybody. But what is something that you love about your body?
And you're gonna ask me that. I was thinking about that. I love how durable it's been.
Yeah.
Over the years, because I've done a lot of physical stuff.
Right.
Rugby,
when you started
professional wrestling.
Rugby,
and
wrestling.
I've never, knock on wood, been seriously injured. Like I broke my ankle playing rugby one year, but it was a clean break. I was 6 weeks in a cast.
Nice.
Got out of the cast, about a month of rehab, I was back on the field.
Okay.
So I like how durable, because even at an advanced age, I do some pretty intense, tough workouts.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to come back the next day for more, and I'm very blessed to have that. And I've been blessed with some really good genetics, and I try to take advantage of them for the most part.
Right.
But, I would have to say the genetics I was blessed with and durability.
Okay.
I have a very durable body.
I love that. Strong. Yeah.
I can take a beating.
Okay. Well, I love that. And this has been so amazing. And thank you so much for making time. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Of course.
I barely know you, but I'm getting to know you.
Yeah.
And I'm super proud of you. And just stay positive. You're doing more for people than you even realize. And it's amazing. Like I said, I love your energy. I love your spirit. And, I got your back, whatever you need.
Oh, well, thank you, John. I appreciate that so much.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Until next time.